The night sky over central Iran is a vast, dark canvas, silent and ancient. For centuries, these skies have watched over the shifting sands and the secrets buried beneath them. Tonight, the air is still, the only sound a faint wind whispering across the dunes, as if the desert itself is holding its breath. Far from city lights, commercial airliners cross the heavens, modern marvels dwarfed by the stars. Their engines hum softly, a reminder of human presence in a landscape that feels untouched by time. Pilots and passengers alike are suspended between earth and sky, trusting in technology as they traverse the darkness. On this night, something new appeared, a series of soft, falling lights. They emerged without warning, faint at first, then growing brighter, painting streaks of blue across the blackness. The lights seemed to move with purpose, as if guided by an unseen hand. Not meteors, these descended with deliberate, silent grace, ethereal blue, drifting in loose formation. Their movement was too controlled, too synchronized to be a natural phenomenon. They hovered for a moment, suspended in the air before beginning their slow descent toward the desert floor. Pilots watched, instruments blank, as the lights fell. No sound, no radar, no heat. The cockpit was filled with a tense silence, broken only by hurried whispers and the click of switches. Every system showed nothing. It was as if the lights existed outside the realm of normal detection. They vanished into the desert, leaving no trace, no explosion, no crater, just emptiness. The sand was undisturbed, the air unchanged. It was as if the lights had never been there at all, swallowed by the vastness of the land. The event lasted minutes, but for those who saw it, time stretched. Each second felt heavy, loaded with anticipation and fear. On the ground, a few witnesses stared upward, transfixed, unable to look away from the silent spectacle unfolding above them. Pilots circled, searching for answers, but the desert remained unchanged. No sign of impact, no evidence of what had just occurred. The moon cast a pale glow over the sand, revealing nothing but emptiness and shadow. Official logs would call it an anomaly, but for those in the sky it was the start of a mystery. Reports were filed, voices hushed, and questions left unanswered. The incident would be marked as unexplained, a footnote in the records of the night. They had witnessed a silent arrival, lights falling only to disappear into the earth. The memory of those blue orbs would linger, haunting the minds of those who saw them, a vision that defied logic and explanation. The world held its breath, and a question began to ripple outward. What had come to rest beneath the desert sands? What force had chosen this silent, ancient place for its descent? It was the beginning of something no one could explain, a mystery that would echo through the desert and far beyond for years to come. As the lights vanished, Yazd was swept by a strange, subtle wave. The city's power faltered, streetlights died, districts plunged into darkness. A low, pervasive buzzing filled the air, unsettling and inescapable. The power grid flickered erratically. Some homes glowed, others were black. Televisions danced with static, phones lost signal, transformers hummed with unnatural intensity. People emerged, confused, searching the empty sky for answers. Cars stalled mid-street, engines dead, the city hollowed by silence. Yazd became an island, cut off, enveloped in a waiting quiet. No visible scars, but the city's nervous system was shaken. The event severed the connections of modern life, leaving only whispers and uncertainty. The darkness persisted, the buzzing continued, and the silence deepened. Yazd held its breath, caught in a moment that would not end. My name is Julian Croft, journalist. I've spent years chasing stories across continents, but nothing quite prepared me for what I'd find in Yazd. I'm not one for wild theories or sensational headlines. I deal in facts, not rumours. My job is to cut through the noise, to find the truth hidden beneath layers of fear and speculation. When reports of the Yazd light surfaced, I was intrigued but skeptical. Stories of strange lights in the sky have a way of spiralling out of control, fueled by imagination and uncertainty. I arrived a week later. The city was recovering, but tension lingered. The streets bore subtle scars, shattered glass, hurried repairs, and a nervous energy that clung to every corner. People spoke in hushed tones, glancing at the sky, unconvinced by official explanations. Whispers travelled faster than the wind, and every conversation seemed to circle back to the lights. The story was too strange for easy answers. There was a sense that something had shifted, something that couldn't be explained away. I listened to the people, searching for the details that revealed the truth. persistent static on radios, people pausing mid-sentence, and the way eyes darted to the horizon at dusk, these were clues. The air shimmering at dusk, these were clues. Even the weather seemed to hold its breath, as if the city itself was waiting for answers. My goal pieced together what happened, separating fact from fiction. Every note, every interview, every scrap of evidence mattered. I needed the pilot's stories, the scientists' data, and the technical reports that might explain the unexplainable. And most of all, I needed the voices of Yazd, the people who had witnessed the impossible with their own eyes. This wasn't about aliens. It was about understanding the event, about restoring a sense of reality to a city left reeling. The truth, I sensed, was stranger than any rumor. It was hidden in the details, waiting to be uncovered by someone willing to look past the obvious. Yazd was changed, and so was I. The search for answers had only just begun. Yazd's sensory landscape was altered, most of all the sound. The city, once alive with the gentle hum of daily life, now felt suspended in a strange, uneasy quiet. Even the wind seemed to hesitate, as if wary of disturbing the stillness that had settled over the rooftops and alleyways. A heavy silence lingered, a pressure in the air, a ghost of the night the world went quiet. It was a silence that pressed against the skin, making every footstep, every breath feel amplified and out of place. People whispered, uncertain if their voices would carry too far in the hush. The city's transformers now buzzed with a deep, bone-vibrating hum. It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, resonating through walls and echoing in empty courtyards. Some said it felt like the city itself was trying to speak or perhaps warn us. Engineers found nothing wrong, but the sound persisted, a discordant note in daily life. They checked every circuit, every panel, searching for a fault that didn't exist. The hum became a constant companion, impossible to ignore, unsettling in its persistence. In the desert, my Geiger counter clicked, radiation low but inexplicably elevated. The readings were just high enough to raise questions, but not enough to explain the other phenomena. It was as if the Earth itself was holding onto a secret just beneath the surface. Another anomaly in a landscape of anomalies. The desert, already a place of mystery, now felt even more alien, as if it had shifted subtly into another reality. People described moments where time seemed to slow, a bird hanging, a cup falling in slow motion. These weren't just stories, they were shared experiences, recounted with a mix of awe and fear, as if the laws of nature had briefly loosened their grip. These stories were widespread, impossible to dismiss. Neighbors gathered in small groups, trading accounts of strange sensations and impossible moments, searching for meaning in the inexplicable. It was as if the event left ripples in space-time itself. The world felt subtly warped, as if reality had been stretched and was still trying to snap back into place. The silence, the hum, the strange sense of time, echoes of a force we could not comprehend. Each day brought new questions, and the city's collective unease grew. Yazd was haunted by what had happened. Shadows seemed deeper, and every familiar corner felt changed, as if the city itself was holding its breath. The city was changed, and the mystery deepened. In the quiet, we waited for answers that never came, listening for meaning in the echoes that lingered in the static. My breakthrough came with an interview. Farhad, a veteran pilot, he described the lights, soft, pulsating blue, descending in a way that defied physics. They weren't falling, he said. They were being placed, deliberate, intelligent. His co-pilot's phone died trying to film. Cockpit electronics flickered and failed. Farhad marked the location, a remote patch of the Dashti Kavir desert. Other pilots saw the same, all converging on that spot. Official reports were sanitized, but the pilots knew what they'd witnessed. "Be careful," Farhad warned. "You're investigating the silence that followed." His testimony was more than a clue, it was a warning. The silence was not just absence of sound, but of answers. Each new fact only widened the void. The unknown was growing. The people of Yazd were the heart of the story. Their experiences were intimate. An elderly baker's dough refused to rise. A mother's baby fell into a deep sleep as the lights appeared. Homes filled with stillness. Not fear, but a strange peace. In an electronics shop, Reza showed me circuit boards, fried but not by a surge. "It's as if the components just gave up," he said, baffled. Ordinary people, bewildered, tried to make sense of the extraordinary. They spoke of silence, buzzing, and the world behaving strangely. Their stories were small, personal, and deeply human. They gave the mystery weight and substance. Whatever happened, it touched everyone, leaving questions and wonder. The city's memory was forever changed. I met Dr. Arash Jafari, physicist, late at night in his lab. He showed me data, a massive spike in electromagnetic energy as the lights vanished. "This isn't natural," he whispered. "It's structured, engineered." Radiation in the desert was from an isotope unknown on Earth, stable yet faintly radioactive. "It's a paradox," he said, "a scientific impossibility." Dr. Jafari was torn. His discovery could change the world, but the world might not be ready. He feared not the unknown, but the consequences of knowledge. "We've found evidence of technology far beyond our own," he concluded, but there was no message, no explanation, just a complex machine in the forest, its purpose a mystery. The implications were staggering. Science had no context for what had arrived. The silence was now filled with impossible questions. Guided by the pilot's map and Dr. Jafari's data, I searched the desert. I found small, dark fragments, impossibly smooth, strangely textured, cool to the touch. They absorbed light, resisted each other magnetically, and were unlike any known material. Back in Yazd, Reza examined them. Insulators that responded to electrical fields, shifting internally. "I've never seen anything like it," he said. The fragments were technology operating on unknown principles. Holding one, I felt it was a message. Not in words, but in physics. It told of a technology so advanced it seemed like magic. The fragments deepened the mystery, expanding what we thought possible. No answers about who sent them or why. Only a sense that we'd glimpsed another world. The unknown had left its mark in the sand. I left Iran with more questions than answers. Fragments, testimony, data, and a story of a silent, inexplicable event. The central question remained, who were they? What did they want? No greeting, no warning. Just the silent fall of lights and impossible technology. This was not an invasion, but a subtle, enigmatic contact. We were not addressed, only observed. Our understanding of our place in the universe was shaken. The world moves on unaware, but for those who witnessed it, everything is different. We now know we are not alone, but what we are to them remains a mystery. The silence from the stars is now the silence of a presence, watching, waiting, beyond comprehension. The lights over Iran brought not answers, but a new unending question. The journey to understanding has only just begun.